Well, Coach, I think there is great reason that you will have such a better feeling and ride home. 5 newcomers that appear to be all getting themselves into flow immediately. Where would you say you are in terms of the process of being ready to play a game after what you've seen about a month of practice?
I think we're getting close. You know, we got a few more weeks before we actually play an official game. I think our fitness level is pretty good. We got some improvements there. Offensively, I think we're doing pretty well. You know, we're playing unselfishly, which is encouraging. We just got to get locked in a little bit more defensively, and you know that sometimes they go hand in hand. You know, when you get tired, you start getting a little lackadaisical. So our focus has really been on the defensive end to try and get locked in there. But the encouraging thing is that there is a translation. When you're selfish offensively, you'll pick it up. And look, some teams are one or the other. You know, you like to think you like to do both exceptionally well. We're probably a little bit more gifted offensively, which, you know, and I've asked, you know, maybe I'll ask Brian, but I've asked some really defensive-minded coaches, would you rather have a player to score and teach him defense, or would you have a defender to teach him scoring? I'm taking the scorer, and I'll teach him defense.
Yeah. I wonder why. You were always a scorer.
Well, like I said, if you do both, you know, you have no problems.
What I've been impressed with the team so far, watching a couple of the practices, is the depth. And where you can go maybe 8, 9 players so much deeper than you were able to do last year. And you spoke about their length. So that's only going to help you defensive-wise. Some of the guys have very long arms and they have outstanding quickness.
Yeah, I think our schemes will work fine. They just got to get used to it. You know, it's much like playing together on offense. You know, if you're going to double somewhere, you have to have the rotation, and some of that's repetition. You know, much like moving the basketball and setting screens and things like that. So I think we'll get it. It just takes a little time to pick it up and to do it together on a string. So our length, I think, will help. And the depth, Brian, you talked about, you know, I think we're going to have, depending on who starts, and we're going to have 3 guys that not only can come off and, you know, we feel really good about, but they've got experience now. You know, those guys, maybe it's 3 guys that played big minutes last year that are coming off. And that's probably going to vary on a nightly basis, which is a good feeling.
Coach Mullin, one fascinating lineup that appears to be developing on paper is potentially having Shamori Pons and Marcus Levette on the floor at the same time. What can you speak to about how they may complement one another, similar guards in terms of size? Marcus does have the year under his belt, but how about that possibility that they may play a lot together and how they may complement one another?
Yeah, I think they play really well together. They're similar guards, but they have distinct differences. You know, Marcus, tremendous speed, tremendous breakdown ability off the dribble. He collapses the defense. Shamari's a little more slick. You know, he's got a great instincts for the game, both offensively and defensively. Very good passer, and he's a tremendous scorer. But he's also very unselfish, which I didn't see in his high school. So I
think both of them are they're willing passes. If they can make a play, they're looking to make that pass, which is so important to get the other people involved. And they're both able to break down defenders by themselves, which should create some open shots for some of the better shooters.
Yeah, and I told our guys too. It's nice, you know, when you like your teammates. It's really important. But when you need your teammate, that's what really makes the team go. So I think a lot of our guys, they have distinct strengths, and their weaknesses are covered up by the guy next to them. So maybe the things that Marcus is really, really good at, Shamari might be a little good at something else, just a little bit different. Where Bashir is an attacking player. You know, we got Richie, who's more of a spot-up guy. So we got a nice combination where Seam is more of a traditional big, and Kasum, if we play them, gives more of a runner, more, you know, a different look, but very similar. And they actually need each other to function well.
Coach Mullin, last thing before we let you go, the practice on paper, it seems, as you mentioned, you have at each spot a pair of players competing for time. Can you sense that as a coach? What have you seen in terms of how they push each other on a daily basis, and that just what comes out organically must be exponential from what you're seeing?
Well, I mean, I was taught from Brian and from Coach Connor, said practice is everything. That's the rehearsal. That's where you get better. The summer times where you improve as an individual. And when you try and get better as a team, you need high-quality practices. And you can only go from experience. You know, the teams I played on, in Golden State. You know, me, Mitch, and Tim were the starters, but we had, you know, Sharunas Marshallonis, Mario Ellie, Vincent Askew behind us each and every day trying to get our minutes. And when you come to practice each and every day, I mean, when I was here, Kevin Williams was down my neck every day. You know, he wanted to start. You know, the guy never started a game at St. John, played 7 years in the NBA. So each and every day, I knew this guy was going to bring it every day. There's no replacing that. So you have the depth, you have the healthy competition, and that's what you really need to prepare to go out and perform.
During Chris's years, 83, 84, 85, we had such a deep team that our practices were harder than some of the games we played, which, you know, and to do that over a 3-month period, every day to come to practice, you know, these guys were going to work hard and they were going to push themselves to get better and better, and that's what it takes.
That's what it's all about.
Coach Mullin, I can see the smile on your face already just about the way practices are going.
There.
Yeah. We'll see you very soon. Exhibition contest on Monday. The regular season opens up in less than 2 weeks. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks,
Brian.
Chris.
Thanks.
In his second season, head coach Chris Mullin joining us here, St. John's Basketball Media Day. We'll